Joining us now, DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin. Tricia, thanks for being with us. We watched that interchange. We were talking earlier in the show about the church in St. Paul where protesters busted in because one of the pastors at that church is a federal law enforcement agent as well. There are more and more threats against these officers. I'm guessing you've had to expend significantly more resources trying to keep them safe as they do their jobs. What are you doing to try to keep them safe?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we have more men and women on the ground. You saw last week the president sent in more federal law enforcement, and he's doing just that, trying to protect our men and women on the ground. But Secretary Noem is completely right. We've seen an 8,000% increase in death threats against our law enforcement officers. But it's not just our agents and officers being targeted. It's also their families, where their children go to school, where their spouses work. This is all being put on the deep web. We're having our ICE lawyers being stalked and followed on their way home. In Minneapolis, there's a number of these hotels closing because they've faced bomb threats against them, because this is where they believe that these ICE officers are staying during their time there. It's really spiraled out of control. And by the way, where are Jacob Frey? Where is Tim Walz saying, stop there? Where is the condemnation when there's violence against federal law enforcement officers? We've only heard that from the President of the United States. We've only heard that from Secretary Noem and those on the right. I think it's about time the left looks in the mirror, say enough is enough, and they got to put really public safety and law enforcement safety ahead of their own political gain.
Moving on to the category of you can't fix stupid, but this is onto the lawless state of California. There's this wannabe governor, Eric Swalwell, who now says he wants to yank driver's licenses from ICE officers, despite handing them out to illegal aliens like candy on Halloween night. Listen to this.
They're going to lose their immunity. They're not going to be able to drive. I will take your driver's license. Good luck walking to work.
Tricia, but to go back to, he wants to deprive federal law enforcement of the ability to drive with a license. But he wants people who broke the law coming into this country, many of whom are criminals. He wants to hand driver's licenses to them, but not people who protect the laws of our land.
Dagan, this is just gutter politics. This is a clear political move. It's quite frankly disgusting. And oh, by the way, Eric Swalwell is supposed to be a member of Congress. He's supposed to create legislation. If he wants to change the laws, he should do that, not demonize our men and women on the ground who are simply enforcing the rule of law that Congress passed. And you brought up this commercial driver's license that Gavin Newsom has given scores and scores to illegal aliens. And we've seen the dangerous and deadly consequences of this. We've seen these vehicles be used like missiles going down the roads and killing Americans, American children. Secretary Duffy, Secretary Noem have been really all over this. We've been making special targeted operations to make sure that those who are in the country illegally are not getting those driver's licenses, and that we are absolutely stopping those who do.
Are you having success finding the protesters, the rioters, who are themselves breaking the law and making themselves criminals? Are you having success finding them, apprehending them, and bringing them to justice? I don't feel like they're ever going to stop, but I do feel like a real incentive by being apprehended by law enforcement could help. How's that going?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of violence on the ground there in Minneapolis. Just last night, there were fireworks being shot at our agents. We've had ice blocks being thrown at them, rocks being pummeled at them, spit, and otherwise assaulted. And yes, if you lay a hand on law enforcement, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. You can bet on it. And DOJ has been working very hard on this. But as far as a whole of government approaches, it's also a question of who is funding what looks like highly coordinated, highly organized protests that devolve into riots. And sometimes it looks like they are hell-bent on making them riots. We are making sure we're following the money. Secretary Besson has been excellent on this, and we're looking, is this just coming from domestic funding streams, or is this more international and foreign money as well?
Tricia McLaughlin, thank you so much.